I love you, Talianata Brava. I love myself. I love my person. I love my whole brand. Oh, hey, someone find a brand. Oh, hi, it's me. My whole personality is her. Welcome to Be Brava Live Coaching. This is where we're going to be joined by the beautiful, the luxurious, the poetress herself, Mrs. Claire Woolner. There she is. Oh my God, adorable. After those who joined us for the intro sesh, just heard a 5-minute rant while Claire was finding me. Hello, my dar.
Hi.
So I love how tuned we are. I must have been sinking into the Claire Woolner energy because I went like sans makeup, messy bun. I look like I've been sweating in a studio when really in reality I've never touched like a thing that builds things. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
A tool?
A tool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, not in a long
Except
time.
for a cock.
It's been years.
Uh,
My darling. So I want to just set the stage a little bit for our dear friends. Right now we have Andy Pinkins, who's actually the avatar of Dave Getzel. I don't like when people don't come on with their real personalities.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm the only one who gets to hide Claire. So, darling, I want to introduce you well, and then just set up the scene of what we're going to talk about today. So this is Be Brava Live. These Be Brava Live sessions are sort of like a peek into the experience of like being in the line of fire of like a Brava session. Knowing that, like, just as a little caveat to my friends, Lucia, my alter, is a coach. You can hire Lucia to be your coach, and then we can bring in Brava to like spruce it up. But on these lives, we're like mostly 90% entertainment value, 10% content. So I'm gonna be full on. Just get ready for that. Is your diva cut, like, are you squeezing your diva cut? Because it might come out.
I don't have one in right now.
I love it. Are you free flowing or you got nothing happening?
I'm not on my period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Claire Woolner is not on her period. So any of like the honeybees trying to like get some rosé or whatever they do.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not pouring.
It's not the time.
It's not the time. You know what? And we're gonna talk about timing. Oh my God, I love everything unfolds because this is the thing. Claire Woolner is a wordsmith. She is a non-comedian but a comedian. She's an actress. She is a sculptress. She is a poet maker. She is a lover of letters. She is wife to a very charming composer, not cheesemaker. These are you're in communal with a very multi-talented woman, and we're going to talk about that because I feel like that is something that you have been able to, in the time I've known you, like step more fully into embracing rather than resisting, and letting all the little spools of like your sweater unravel themselves into actually, oh my God, it's a beautiful quilt, and it's not a disaster.
You know, that's so funny that you say that because I bought a sewing machine recently. I've never used one in my life, and I really want to buy some quilts and make them into things. So it's just amazing that you brought up a quilt. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it would be amazing, but you know we've been telepathizing since before birth.
Okay, what's going on? How come you have sparkles all over your face?
I love Claire Woolner because she's never used the internet before. Boo, it's called a filter. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm like Ariana Grande when I'm around you. I'm like the 16-year-old who's like, you've never heard of a filter? Look at you. She's experimenting. How fun, right?
Well, yours looks so good. What filter are you using?
I'm using the Golden Sparkles. Don't tell the internet. Just us and our little intimate engagement here.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I don't mean to.
You know what, though? This is the thing, cutie. I've noticed this, that there are different filters available for different people.
Wow.
Can you believe the internet's fucking with us? It's the alien hybrid babies of the future who are trying to cancel us now because we're not woke enough. So they come in here, they interject, they pick up off live streams. It makes sense.
Whoa. Well, I think I have it on now. No. Wow.
You're like Frozen. You're like Frozen the movie.
I think I have yours on. Is that okay with you if I have yours, or would you like me to find my own?
No, I want you to be as much like me as possible.
Yeah, I should have remembered who I was talking to.
It's called Be Brava.
I apologize. What's going on with your eyes?
I was winking. So my darling.
Winking.
Okay, so I mean, Pies are on live streams all the time. What?
Totally.
I think a wink should look as forceful and intentional as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Claire, before we get into you, I really do have to share a little update from me.
Great.
I'm trending on Nextdoor.
You're trying to get on Nextdoor?
So my alter,
Oh,
like she put a
trending.
post on next door. She put a post on next door looking for a boyfriend. It is the #1 trending in the Silver Lake area. I have a makeup artist. I've been named, or she's been named, the Bachelorette of Silver Lake. I have 2 dates lined up and like 80 people following beat by beat as the romances unfold. Can you
This
believe?
is Talia that they're following?
No, this is my alter.
It's Lucia, the
Mm-hmm.
other.
Can you believe
Yeah.
that?
I can actually. You know what? I can believe it.
Well, I'm excited for her, and I'll like hopefully for me too. But darling, let's get into you. So I want to hear about this moment. I want to hear where, Claire, you are when you were thinking about your work right now. How are you defining that? What does that even mean to you at this moment? Your work in the world. What does that look like? That's your fucking open door. Just give it all. Give it all up.
Wow, what a question. Well, I will answer your question with a story.
Perfect. A story question.
It's a story question, which is that it's really just a recap of something that happened for me earlier. But I was talking with a friend of mine who is also a maker of things, who's also an actor, but a maker of things. Much more successful than I am as far as being on
That's
many
that Capricorn.
shows.
That's that Capricorn.
You know,
Yeah, we hear that.
but we're both talking about how we can create some kind of online marketplace for all of our things that we make, and we're talking about what would it be like. What I'm thinking about a lot right now is how I actually think that what has happened, that first of all, what happened with quarantine and how that sort of slowed. I mean, you've known this about me, Talia, since the beginning. I love the sacred moments, and I love time, you know, and I love
time is a circle that's shaped like a line.
wow.
I misquote you all the time from
Yeah, that's not the
Claire
quote.
and I were in a play. My alter and her
Yeah.
are part of a feminist movement that just
We are
by everything else.
We are.
Okay,
But
so yeah.
Anyway, the point being that just like during quarantine, it made me, I because none of my family or close friends were sick, and because honestly, because I was getting unemployment, I was able to really slow down and not worry, and realize that it felt really good and that I really enjoyed that. And then everything kind of, we all had enough time to focus when Black Lives Matter came into the forefront. And that, to me, it was like, if we hadn't been slow, never would we all have changed, right? Yeah. So what I'm thinking about a lot is how is it so obvious that the way that we've been living. Okay, first of all, I read the characteristics of white supremacy culture. There's like a printout, whatever, that you can read. It's not a printout, it's on the computer. You could print it out if you
I was
want.
really hoping it was on a lamppost. I mostly like reading things when they're on lampposts.
Oh, I love things on lampposts.
The only time I read, like, okay, but it wasn't printed out, but it could be printed out.
Yeah, I could easily print it out, but okay. I read it and I thought that was exactly the sort of like mean critical voice in my head. Like, it speaks to me in the ways of white supremacy culture.
Darling, that's so interesting, because we talked about that when we were crafting, as my alter and you crafted this show about the patriarchy, a lot of themes about patriarchy, and I had this same realization. Oh, I didn't really understand the patriarchy until I realized it was the voice in my own head, the white supremacy voice in your own head. So what are the voices that you now can hear and are like, okay, let's just start to tag those and delicately shift them?
Yeah, well, I mean, really, this is almost verbatim sort of like what has been written about as characteristics of white supremacy culture, but it's the idea that if someone else gets something, it means that I've lost something or will be losing something. And that there's, you know, it's very all or nothing thinking, like it's very logical type of thinking. So like, if you work this hard, then you will be able to get this much, you know, and that those things correlate with one another. The idea that there's a limited amount of resources to go around, which is sort of in line of the idea that if someone else gets something, I don't. And the idea that I need to get mine at all.
So it's sort of like, it's like there is this game that certain people have been set up to do well at, and so there is a fear and an awareness from the game players that if everyone decides they're not playing the game actually dissolves. So if you are not playing that game of 100%, like all or nothing, there's winners and losers. Your loss is my gain is your loss. If you are taking yourself out of that game as much as you possibly can right now, what new paradigm do you hope that you are a part of creating?
Well, that's exactly what goes back to your question of what do I feel like my work is right now. And I think, I mean, truthfully, it's something that I think needs to be imagined and created. And so like what I was talking about earlier with my friend who we're trying to figure out how to create this online marketplace for our goods that we make and handmade goods of friends of ours, is how can we create a business model that's where if we keep following what we really want to do and what really speaks to us, and like how do we follow that and trust that the resources to continue doing that will come,
Mm-hmm.
versus thinking in a way that I've been thinking, because I've been making these things and I've been selling them, right? And same with my friend Christine. And so it's like, rather than just being like, okay, do I need to brand myself then? Like, are these the things that I need to make? Or is the truth of who I am that I will make whatever I have with whatever I have around? And what that means is like recycling, you know, and that you, and it's also the idea that you have everything that you need, that we don't need more shit.
This is also the thing too. It's like, I mean, some of us might have noticed the days of the month, and if you don't notice when it's the first of the month, good, so good on them, right? Good on people who don't know it's the first month. But of course, I was having my breakdown in the shower because I'm like, literally, like I don't get kicked out of my apartment. So I'm in the shower, start tapping and doing all the things that my spiritual hygiene, while I'm hygiening my body. And it was like that reminder, one, that I saw a quote yesterday. It really spoke to me from my yoga teacher friend. Don't quit before the miracle. And that two, the moment that you feel tapped out, like you don't believe it, is not the moment to not believe it. Listen to the girl who had the idea, had the inspiration, had the like passion, where she's like, you know what, I'm going to do what feels right. I'm going to follow that. I'm going to trust that because awesome shit does happen when I follow that. I'm going to keep taking inventory so that I remind myself. And then when I'm at those lowest moments, I'm just going to not think too hard because it's not the time to problem solve.
Totally. And also it's like that, I think a lot about that, Einstein quote that you can't create a solution for the problem with the same thing that created the problem. And always the problem, for me anyway, centers in my mind.
Yeah, 1000%. 1000%. And it's like, yeah, we have such, I think part of the problem of being too present is making the moment like everything. And so it's like feeling a certain way and then like branching it out to like my whole life makes no sense. And it's like maybe take a fucking nap. And also get into what your fucking fear is. It's like I'm standing in an apartment with clothes and like I have shampoo and it's like I have what I need in this moment to survive, and the fear is a number. And it's like, as real as that is, and as real as circumstances are for people who have it much worse, at the same time, like always tapping into like, is my soul affected, or is my soul kind of like, fuck yeah, like this is part of the story.
Yeah, and also I think a part of it is that there has been in the past and can be again a place where we can make enough doing what we want to do, and and where like it's not maybe billions or whatever, but to me it seems like the two things that are really out of balance, right, are like really really rich and really really poor, and like what happens to everything in between. So also like I'm a white person who has a very different experience from a lot of people, and I'm aware of that too. And so I'm trying in my work to just also be aware of that every day and aware of like that it is a privilege to be able to make my work, and like what would a world be like where that wasn't a privilege?
No, that's another thing too. It's like, oh my God, champagne problems, pursuing our passions and expecting to get paid for them.
Yeah.
Like majority of people in history have not had that opportunity and still do not have that opportunity. So I find myself in that pity party, like, like people don't pay people to be satirical cult leaders. Boo hoo. Who the fuck told you that? Who the fuck is responsible for you having a great, like, artistically pursued life? If you're gonna make that choice, you have to fucking warrior the fuck up and not fucking cry about it when you're in emotional and financial instability. That's the fucking choice you made.
Right.
I could work for a corporation. I don't want to.
That's right. I totally hear you. And so if it's smaller for everyone, then I just think that we will see that there is enough to go around.
And so, my darling, I want to talk to you personally about this, because I know you are like such a you're clairvoyant and clear and transparent. I don't know how I thought I could put transparent into the word clear, but
I thought you were gonna say trendsetter.
You're trend-setting, clairvoyant, very aligned, and all the things.
Wow,
You're basically not fully. You're eviscerating, continuously almost eviscerating, which is a very high sign of your personal growth. And really mahalo. But I wanted to say all this is a caveat to ask you a very personal question, which you can decline or no. But knowing that, like, this has been a shift for you, like, you're a girl who, you got a little Capricorn, you got a little competitive, and you fought this inside yourself. You've battled it, like, your spiritual personal for the newbies, your spiritual personal beliefs and understandings, and then also like this programming that we all have inherited. But I think like you in particular are someone who's like on an external level, like really like thought through it and talked about it. So what do you feel like needs to die for you to fully, like, is there a version of yourself that needs to die to move into this new paradigm completely? Okay, better question, because I feel like that was a shitty one.
No, I have an answer. I have an answer, which is that I work with a therapist who works in this what's the word? It's like not modular, model. The word is model. It's a much simpler word. Who works in the model that like we have all of these different selves, And actually yesterday in my therapy session, I was talking with her about this very thing, this idea of like selling my things that I make, and that there's one voice, there's like the one part of me that says like, that's like the whip cracker, and that is the, you know that boy. We all have.
Claire, you literally spank yourself like in the past.
I literally do spank myself.
Like spatula. Like
that's true.
You've externalized the whip cracker. That's why I was asking this question, because I know that comes out of you.
Yeah,
like
that's a real thing.
Yeah. What's your name, by the way?
It's just another part of me. I don't know. So there's that part, and then there's like this other part that is the art maker that just like has infinite amount of ideas. And so the way that this amazing therapist that I work with thinks about it.
First of all, I need you to stop referring to this woman, because it's actually like incredibly painful.
Oh my God, I'm so.
But you can continue. We're gonna call her that bitch. All right. So you be like,
wow, that was so insensitive of me, Talia.
It just shows to me that you don't understand my ego and how much it needs to be supported in this meow moment as I'm walking through birthing the next multiverse. But do continue. We'll just call her that bitch, or I will call her that bitch. You can just say her name and I'll just go that bitch.
Okay. Well, I'll just talk about the model. How about?
I love it.
Cool. Because then you can take the model and run with it as well.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
You already.
It's already.
What are you drinking, by the way?
Go to workwithtalia.com. Brava.com.
Sparkling.
It's seltzer. I'm not fancy over here. Like speaking about, Oh. Just what existence? Social distance doesn't exist. Yes. Cheers. Yeah. I love.
But it's just so the idea of this model that you thought of, Talia, was that kind of like you take all these different parts, and as if they're radio frequencies, you kind of turn them up and turn them down to figure out what parts work, right? So does a part of me need to die? I don't think so, but I think that are parts of me that need to get much quieter. And
Hot
that I
97.
pardon?
Hot 97.
Hot 97. Well, Hot 97 needs to be more on the artistic realm, I think, right? And maybe we're talking more like AM radio 570 for the.
Better call. Turning that down. We don't want to miss the hot new tracks.
No, you don't.
So you're turning down. Are you able to identify a feeling state? Like, we know there are certain words that might be that's that voice, or certain ideas. Is there a feeling in your body that you notice when you're getting into that energy of the whip cracker?
Yeah, I have a real tightening in my chest, and a sense of urgency, like a physical sense of urgency.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that those are probably the main physical sensations. And then I have anxiety.
What do you do to work through that when they start to show up?
Well, sometimes I will exercise. That seems to help.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not so much actually during recently. I really want to work on my sitting meditation practice more, which I know you have a very strong one, Talia.
Thank you, darling.
I mean, you're the queen of Vipassana. Come on.
I'm good at doing nothing.
So
but making it hurt good, you know?
You're honestly so good at it. But sometimes I'll sit with it. That's rarer. And mostly I need to get it out of my body.
1,000. I think, and I also think there's something very feminine about that. I've never been in a male body, but I do find that women really do often connect with this, and I've definitely been playing with it. Oh my gosh, Claire, you'll love this. This is exactly what you're speaking about. I no longer can sit with any feeling of anxiety. Like, I just need to make a noise, go, ha, ha. And now that I'm alone, I can do it.
Yes.
I bark. Okay, boo, you gotta hear this because this is crazy. The other day, I was feeling it, and I just kept making, huh, and I would just, huh, huh, and I know that's that's so us, let's just so us, because we're such wild women, but listen, I'm in my kitchen making coffee, I hear a dog barking, and I just instinctively start going, ruff, ruff, ruff. And I was like, oh shit, I get why dogs do this, and it felt phenomenal, and I got all the anxiety out.
Yes, I've been doing a lot of those sounds too, and my husband says it's a little annoying.
That's what I wonder. It'd be harder. It'd be more vulnerable to do. Okay, that's another question. So, do you feel? And you guys are such a great duo. Let's talk about a dynamic duo, Nick and Claire. You don't need to talk anymore. We just defined it. So, is there anything that's still embarrassing to you? Is there any part of your spiritual, personal work that you're I'm gonna go to the den and do this because it's embarrassing?
No, actually. Although I will say that I did do this dream workshop that my friend leads a few months ago, and I was gonna
that bitch.
It's a different bitch.
Oh, but still, though.
But still a bitch, a total bitch. Yeah, right. This other bitch.
You're not really friends.
Oh my god. And I was able to go stay at a cabin in Big Bear during it, just happenstance. And after I did that, I thought, I'm really glad that I got to do this here rather than at home, but not in a form of embarrassment. I mean, Nick met me when I was at a very dark time of my life and not looking good. And, he is.
You know what? Yeah, I think that actually gives me a lot of faith in my altar's next door posts, because this is a man who found me next to the don't use rat poisoning and before the all cats should be indoor cats. It'll be a man who found me there.
Yeah, exactly. Has anyone responded? Has a man responded to you?
Okay, so I was gonna take out my phone, but we're on it. It is the top trending post. No big deal. A huge deal. 80 comments. It's an 80 comment at the moment. I've had so many invitations. I have 2 dates officially set up. I have a makeup artist, a local makeup artist who wants to show off her wares. I have another one who owns a gym who's cute date idea. Come to my gym.
Wait, so what did you write?
I wrote, looking for a boyfriend, and then underneath it, how cute if this is how we met, though.
Great.
Who knew? You know what, though? Who did know? This is exactly what we're talking about. Actually stepping outside the game. Okay, you want to be one of a billion on Actors Access or one of 1,000 trillion on Tinder? Or do you want to start using things in different ways? This is a yoga block, and I could use it as a table.
Sure. There you go.
So what are you using in a new way? What have you noticed it can be a concept, it can be a system. What are you, Claire, naming that you're going to start using in a new paradigm way?
What am I using in a new way?
Like a new paradigm of using something.
Well, I've been trying to do it with social media, but then sometimes I get caught up and look at things that make me feel like shit. But for the most part, I've been doing it with social media. I unfollowed everyone that I was following a few months ago, and only followed, didn't really follow actually anyone that I know, because I realized that actually relationships don't feel good to me on social media. What I want to use it for is information. So I follow knitting Instagrams, social justice Instagrams, and clothing Instagrams.
I love that, babe. You know what? You're a great plug, because I just had it's accessible to any and all. All you have to do is decide that you're a Brava baby. It's a free 5-day media cleanse where you set an intention for the way you want to cleanse your media. And that's the emphasis, because media is so vast, and social media, most humans are addicted to it, but for different reasons. And for you, it might have been like more was it the social comparison? Like, what about the social stuff wasn't feeling good that you had to cleanse yourself and take out of your life?
Well, it's a lot of what was going on for me before quarantine too. It was just where like I judge, there's the saying like judging your insides by other people's outsides, and where I just like
I love that.
Yeah, and that, like, comparison is something. I mean, I grew up in LA in the middle of like a lot of really rich, famous people, and I always felt less than, and that was just how I learned to exist. So really, it's that. It's like, okay, it's insane for me to think that I'm gonna have a different. At this point, maybe sometime I'll see that stuff.
But it's like a detox. Our minds are so delicate and so influenceable. Yeah. And I think it takes a great level of humility to actually recognize how influential. Speaking of, like, this bitch, I just watched 3 seasons in a row of Selling Sunset. All I can think about is flipping houses and giving bitches the eyes, the stink eye. So that's like goes to show. I mean, it's just whatever you're binging on fucking Netflix and change your entire perspective on life. And I also think that's a positive thing if we are aware of it, because that means that we're like actually able to shift and change. And then it's like, okay, what am I going to input? So you're looking at the knitting, you're looking at the social justice movement, you're looking at the clothing. What do you feel like is really feeding Claire Woolner right now on like a intellectual, spiritual level? Like, what do you just want to like know all about, learn all about, grow all about right now?
Oh, so many things I'm listening to and taking in so much information right now. There's this one person that I discovered a few months ago, which is why it's funny that you said just take a nap. Her name is Trisha Hersey. Do you know her? She's the nap bishop, and she started something called the Nap Ministry. I want to go work for her.
Oh, and I'm the water girl. If she's the sleep is good for you, I'll be the breathing is good for you. Get the fuck out of here. But okay, keep talking. Keep talking.
But she's a performance artist and a social justice activist and theologian. Which are
Wait, I'm so sorry. Does she have more hyphens? I'm just kidding. I just love talking shit.
I love that about you. What kind of, like, I just love that, like, what, this wouldn't be an interview with Talia.
No, it definitely wouldn't be an interview without me just interrupting you and talking shit on everyone.
It wouldn't.
Okay, so we love her. She's a theologian, nap enthusiast.
Her whole idea is just about the idea of rest as resistance, and that, grind culture is a product of white supremacy. And I am so interested in that idea. And it's the same thing I was talking about before, and I'm just like so interested in and scared by the idea of really actually extricating myself from grind culture.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question that I think will support this instinct, because we do need to create a whole lot more data if all the data we have collected up until this point has supported an old paradigm.
Oh,
Tell me a story of a miracle or just a moment that has proven to you lately that your thesis or your hypothesis that actual being in your flow is the way to all. Tell us a story. What's an example of that?
Okay. Well, I can think of actually quite a few. But I'll start with one, which is about someone we both know, my sister.
Love
Who,
her.
so
First
basically,
woman I've supported on this live stream besides you.
really?
Yeah.
She's so
Like
great.
on this live, I've talked shit on everyone you mentioned. I didn't even know them. And now Maddie Woolner. Love
Oh,
her.
the first person you've supported on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, she's one of us.
Yeah, exactly.
She's one of us. But so I have this guest house that we were renting to this amazing couple that we loved, and they lived here for a while, and it was so great. And they had 2 birds and a dog, and we became really good friends with them. And Sam and I shared the studio. And there was no talk of them moving or anything. My sister had simultaneously given notice on her apartment in Los Feliz, not knowing where she was going to move, but just was like, I need to get out of here. I don't know where I'm going to go. One day she came over, and she was just going to move into my mom's house for a little bit. Yeah. And she came over one day and she was like, I know that you love Sam and Adam, but like, I wish that they would just move so that I could live there. And I was like, I get that. I totally get that. 2 days later, Nick and I got a text from Sam and Adam that said, you guys, this is so weird. This has happened out of nowhere, but we have been given an opportunity to move in somewhere in Mount Washington. It's much bigger. We love living here so much. It's like late notice, but what do you think? And I was like, that's great. And that part all sounds like synchronicity, but the reason that I related to this thing of like taking it easy is because then my sister was like, sure, I'll move in. And then Sam and Adam had these nightmare landlord that they were moving into. And so there was so much back and forth, so much struggle. Didn't know who was going to live here. It was horrible for them. But I really just stayed in that place of not forcing and not worrying.
Yeah.
And basically what ended up happening was they moved out the day that my sister moved in. It was very easy. Now, can I give another example?
Well, I want to actually just dive in there, because for those who might, when I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, like she was in flow and she let it happen. But I want you to just express and really clarify so that I'm not making any assumptions about how that was a testament of this miracle of flow. So tell us underneath it, what did that teach about the way the universe works?
Well, just that at the point when it became possible that my sister was going to move in, I, as the landlord and the person who uses that to pay my mortgage, started to get kind of freaked out about, are they going to move out? Is she going to move in? Am I going to need to get someone else? What am I going to do? Who else is there going to need? Like that go, figure everything out started to show up for me. That like whiff cracker, like you're going to be fucked. Basically, that's what that voice says. That voice is like, you're going to be fucked if you don't figure this out. But what I did instead, like the resistance to that grind culture, go, control everything, make sure that you're doing everything that you can for the outcome, is I just was like, I'm just going to like direct my attention to something that feels good and something that's different, and trust. So that's how I relate it to.
And I love this story too, because it's always nice to look back, even at an hour or even at 5 minutes, and be like, oh, I could have made those last 5 minutes hell. Yeah. I could still be in that personal hell because that emotion would probably stick around a little while. Or I could have just by my own account just decided that I'm going to honor my inner state over everything else external. And the external took care of its own damn self.
Yeah, exactly.
I love.
So true. Trust.
That's it. What was the other story you wanted to share?
Okay, I actually don't even know. Well, no, you probably know this, but I'm not sure if you know I adopted a dog.
I did not know. How would I know? Who would have told me?
I don't know. I posted it on social media. That's the only way.
Well, Boo, you got to text me when you birthed a dog. How was the labor?
I adopted a dog on Sunday.
Oh, she adopted. Okay.
Yeah.
On Sunday?
On Sunday, very recently.
Oh my God, are you in love already? What's happening?
Oh, obsessed. He's amazing. His name is Deer Boy. He looks like a deer. He's so great. But like Nick and I have been wanting to adopt a dog for a while, and like everyone else during quarantine. But I only wanted something that was hypoallergenic, which is very hard to adopt. I wanted a big dog. Nick
I'm like
wanted
a silk or a cashmere dog, nothing else.
exactly. Like I just needed something that you could find it. I don't know, nowhere besides Barney's.
Yeah.
And that's hard to adopt.
Yeah.
It's hard to adopt these $3,400 dogs that people breed, but I was not going to buy from a breeder. So I just kept looking all the time on every fucking rescue. And then we found these ones, and we went and visited them, and I sent the money for the fucking application, and I sent the application, and we drove out to wherever the fuck the Petco was and visited them, and they loved us. And I wrote the woman at the adoption place a personal letter and followed up a million times. Anyway, we didn't end up getting any of those dogs, and it was such a letdown. And truly, and then I was searching, and then I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna find the balance here, between these two voices, and do my due diligence of I'll look every day on these, and then I'll just let it go. And again, trust that I'll get what I'm supposed to get,
Yep.
And literally 2 days ago, or not 2 days ago, 2 days before we got the dog. So on Friday, I saw this dog on the Love Leo Instagram, and I was like, that dog's amazing looking. And he had been running through the desert, and he had been hit by a car, and just anyway, I just emailed them and I sent in my application, and she was like, great, there's a list of 60 people for this dog, but your application looks great, this, that. And she just kept asking me for things. And instead of panicking and trying to get a million things together, I was just giving them. I was really trying to practice not grinding to try to make this thing happen for me.
Yeah.
And basically that was on Friday. On Saturday, I sent her a video of something of my yard. That was on Sunday. And then on Sunday morning, she emailed me and was like, would you guys be interested in taking him for the night and then bringing him to his surgery tomorrow? And I was like, yes, of course. So basically we went and met him, picked him up, took him back to our house. We didn't have anything ready. We weren't expecting to bring a dog home. She gave us some food. We got our couch cushions and put him on the ground, and and then took him the next day to surgery and brought him back. And it's we could not have asked for a better dog. Mm-hmm. This dog is so smart, completely housebroken. He had to
this is the thing, Claire. I'm gonna interject here, because this is the thing. It's the process is the product, period.
Yes.
So if you're forcing, whether it's the guy on next door, yep, or it's the job, or it's the dog, why the fuck are you trying to force something that's not going to fucking work? Because if it's hard, it's going to feel hard. It's going to be hard. And if it's it sounds so cliche, but actually living that takes fucking guts to be I trust. And you let the process be easy, because if it wasn't your dog. Yeah. Sounds like it's your fucking dog.
And he's the best. He's so quiet, which is perfect for Nick because he records here. He's so
quiet dog.
He's just so he's big, which I wanted. He doesn't shed, so my sister can hang out with him, and it's just amazing. It's
Wait,
amazing.
Did you know? I also have very important news for you. Another big find for today. You just found your dog sitter.
She's sitting him tomorrow night because we're going away for the night.
Yeah, I was saying I could sit your dog.
Oh, you're my dog sitter?
Yeah.
Oh my God, but what about the whole thing that happened with the cat, Talia?
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna, it's better to just air your laundry, and because it's also entertaining. Okay, so cuties, this is what happened. I've always had a against cats. Cats and I don't like each other. But I had an opportunity. I was looking for a place to live in Bed-Stuy over Christmas. So I found a deal to get paid to live in a gorgeous apartment and take care of a cat. Easy fun. I can hold my nose and love, I'll love anything for pay. So I'm in this apartment, and it's gorgeous, and I'm loving it. And the cat and I are doing fine. We're cohabitating. One night, very late at night, the cat starts having seizures. I take it to the hospital. I'm in touch with the owner. This is horrible. This is an actual real horrible thing that happened. The cat ended up dying. And I was like, holy fuck, I think I killed it because of my subconscious thoughts of disliking it. So that just goes to show, maybe as just a final note, is if we're in flow, we have to be really with integrity and really do things that we really, really, really are in alignment with. And if we're not fucking pussy. We're not, what's a word that's not pussy? We're not losers, right? Because pussies are cool. We're not losers. We can like work with ourselves. We can do our bark outs, our tap outs, our yoga flows, and show up to jobs that we have to do because sometimes that happens. But it is about inner state first. And if you come and you're subconsciously thinking about how you want cats to all just stop existing, you might kill a fucking cat.
You might kill a cat. But you like dogs, so that's what you're saying. So I would never worry about that problem. Okay.
I love dogs. Dogs are boys.
Yeah.
I get along better.
Boy, such a cute boy.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, now I'm going to go stalk your Instagram and everyone else should too. Speaking of, I love this because I brought you on to like sell your works. And then you talk the whole time about how you're not grinding, so you didn't do that. But right now, I want you to get real grindy. I want you to tell us what you've been creating and how we can go buy it and get obsessed with it and take them home.
Sure. Well, as you know, as I've always made stuff with my hands. I love making stuff with my hands. It's one of my most wonderful joys, the thing that seems to come the easiest to me. And so when unemployment ran out and I have only had 4 auditions this entire quarantine.
That's crazy. Everyone else is working. What's wrong with you?
And also I'm having a really different experience with my opinion of Hollywood anyway and what I think about that even. But I just started making these things just because I wanted to make things and I had stuff around, honestly. Like my sister-in-law gave me all these felt balls because I did an art camp for my niece and her friend because all the camps were closed.
Please stop bragging about your collection of felt balls. No one needs to hear it.
I had so many felt balls. Now I've had to find a source for felt balls, but I found a very great source. But anyway, so I just started making these things and posting them on Instagram, and some people wanted to buy them, and then some more people wanted to buy them, and then I had to actually find where I could get some of these felt balls, and I decided that I wanted to just name each piece after a WOM that I know and just sort of think about that, and that gives me a lot of pieces to make, which is why also the branding thing is kind of like not just what I want to do, you know.
But I think it's coming, right? It's coming by the piece, like the little felt ball at a time. You're going to discover it.
Yeah, it's coming piece by piece, and I'm just showing up to my, you know, I have this like garage space, which I'm just showing up to.
Hey, one final question before you leave. First of all, how do we buy them? Follow you
on well, so far just through my Instagram. Yeah, so you can just message me at Claire Woolner. And just, you can see I have all of them on there. I am going to start, and through my Instagram also, you'll see my shop that I'm starting. We're going to be posting about that when we get that up in the coming weeks. I have an Etsy. I'll probably put some stuff on Etsy again, but really I've been just getting orders through Instagram. So I actually haven't had time to do the Etsy thing, which has been amazing. I'm like, so happy and grateful.
It's so cool. I love it. Like I was like, how do we buy it? And you're like, just Instagram. It's not just boo. It's like, just sell, just create, just make in the way that feels fucking good to you. And if that's the way it feels good to you, who the fuck says you need to have some other? No one says you have to do it any other way besides the way that you fucking do it. You're one stepping along in the way that feels right and good. I had one thing I wanted to say before you left. I think it was kind of like, you know, bitch Talia. Yeah. It was like, whenever I'm around, so Claire's husband is like has a bitchy Nick. It's like a version of him that's just more fun to talk to.
Yeah.
And he
really brings it out when you're around.
I love bitchy Nick.
I mean, he really brings it out.
Oh, and he's a great vegan cheesemaker, but won't be defined as one.
Won't be defined.
Okay, darling, I think that's all, but I have like so much of a true, genuine love for you. And I know that you are a woman who is constantly evolving, and that makes you interesting as a human. So I keep you around.
I feel the same around you. And Getzel's very kind comment here is reminding me that actually I have posted some of them on my website, where also my poetry book is available, clairewoolner.com.
I love it.
So that's my last.
Go buy a wall hanging. Go follow Claire's journey with her dog. You know what, Claire? I have big news. My mom joined Instagram just for the very fact that I sent her Claire selling these cool wall pieces, and my mom joined Instagram.
Wow,
She
that
hasn't done anything with it, though. Yeah. We'll see.
Bridget.
She's no Monica. That's for sure.
She's no Monica. Monica ordered one right away.
Monica, Claire's mother is, I feel this is the thing. I want us to be really honest about this. You've got such a supportive mom, and I think it's amazing, and I'm like, oh, I love it. But, like, women with supportive moms are equally irritated as women with unsupportive moms. Moms can't get it right. My mom is like, I'm like, she doesn't care. And your mom is like, there. And either way, it's the most annoying behavior we've ever experienced, and it's just going to kill.
It's so hard to be a mom.
I know. I think we made them. Not to say your mom's crazy, but my mom's crazy. But I think it's like, because, yeah, they had to fucking birth a child and then let their heart, like, escape their body and run around and make weird mistakes. Like, that's traumatic.
It's traumatic.
I don't know how they do it.
It's a weird choice.
Props to moms. If you're a mom out there, good for fucking you. Go take a bath if they let you. Okay. I love you, my darling. I will see you so soon. When are we getting a Talia wall display?
Pretty soon, I think.
Okay, just keep saying.
Really soon.
Okay.
Right up.
All right, because I am your friend and I love you, but
yeah. Well,
I could change them at 9.
Why don't you let me know kind of what your color story is?
Hot pink, gold. I'll send you the colors hexes. Hot pink, teal, and gold.
Okay, those are not necessarily colors I am familiar with working with, but
you need to research an artist that I love. I've sent Getzel to look at this artist because he apparently didn't know this artist. I want to hear a really amazing feminist artist that I love. Lisa Frank.
I did get one of these to see if I liked the color.
It'd be cool if it was neon.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, my darling, I love you so very much.
I love you.
I feel so excited for you and little dear boy, little dear boy. And next, and don't let the dog keep you from your sex life. Is just
you know what? Actually, last night we had sex, and the dog, I think, started whimpering. I think he didn't like it.
That's exactly the trajectory, Claire. So you just put your earplugs. You just tell dear boy to go fetch a tree.
Yeah.
And you just keep on, because you're the human. Remember that.
I think he might need to be out of the bedroom.
Yeah, you're the human. Okay.
Yeah, it's my house. Okay.
Yeah. You got the 2 legs in this house. He's got the 4. And that's not better.
It's not. It's my bed. It's my house. It's my husband.
I love it. I can't wait for you to fight with that. I can't wait for you to hold your ground with your own dog. Okay, I love you so much. Have a beautiful night. Thank you all who joined. And go check out Claire Woolner's Instagram, and you'll see all the work we're talking about. I love you so much.
Thanks, baby.
Bye.